My name is John Miller. Welcome to the Introduction to Peace Engineering. In 1982, I founded the organization called Peace Engineering. And Peace Engineering's primary mission is to convince people to get along better with each other. That is quite a task, as you might imagine. Back in the 80s, I was hopeful about the future, but today, considering the level of hatred in our country and all over the world, conditions seem much worse. Violence in our country seems unending, and globally, warring seems to be non-stop, continuous. There are so many refugees fleeing war-torn countries, so many refugees, the United Nations has announced that they're unable to aid all of them. There are so many refugees. Bad news all around. But what's the worst news of all? Of course, we've been killing each other on the planet for several thousand years, but now we're killing the planet. We're killing our own planet. Yes, we've been treating our planet badly for quite some time, and now the evidence is clear and overwhelming. Rachel Carson, in her book Silent Spring, warned us about abusing our home, abusing our earth, and that was in 1962. So I guess we haven't paid much attention to her warning, because just a few days ago a full-page ad in the New York Times appeared, and the ad urged Dow Chemical to stop producing the pesticides that kill milkweed in Mexico. Milkweed? Mexico? So what? Well, monarch butterflies thrive on milkweed. 20 years ago, 1 billion monarchs made the trip from here back down to Mexico so they could winter in Mexico. This year, only 56 million, a very small portion, made the trip. So ultimately, no milkweed, no butterflies. More than 50 years ago, Rachel Carson warned us about these consequences. Now we come to the worst of all. Here is one of the most pessimistic reports about climate change. Quote, "Humans will be extinct in 100 years. In 100 years, because the planet will be uninhabitable, according to Australian microbiologist Frank Fenner, who was one of the leaders of the effort to eradicate smallpox in the 1970s. He blames overcrowding, denuded resources, and climate change. Fenner's prediction is not a sure bet, but he is correct that there is no way emissions reductions will be enough to save us from our trend toward doom. And there doesn't seem to be any big global rush to reduce emissions anyway." Unquote. That certainly doesn't sound good. So let's do the math. 100 years, only 100 years. Let's say a baby born today marries in 25 years when we only have 75 years left. Then a new baby comes, and if that baby grows up and marries at 25, then we only have 50 years to go. At that point, think about it. At that point, our children's children will ask, is there any sense in our having children? They may decide, think about that heartbreaking decision, filled with incomprehensible sorrow. They may decide not to have children at all. Well, that's really heavy, really dismal, how difficult it is to be optimistic. However, we at Peace Engineering are. Of course we're optimistic, otherwise we wouldn't bother to get out of bed in the morning. We are optimistic because we believe what we humans think we can do. You and I, all of us citizens, have the strength and the power to make monumental changes in our behavior before we're gone forever. The most critical question is, do we have the courage to do so? Next time, we'll talk about being a passenger on an airplane. And we'll compare that with being a citizen on the earth. Stay tuned. Thank you.